All righty.
Taking a look at different markets
Sure
from our radio show.
There we are. We are
Period.
good. It looks good.
Taping it today, period.
All right. I get this all ready. All right, Frank, we're good.
Yep, I am. You tell me when.
All right.
Let's roll.
All right, let's go. Here we go. Good to see everybody. Here we go.
3, 2, and 1.
Hey, folks. Welcome back to your Frederick Real Estate Update. I am Darren Ahearn with over almost now 21 years experience in the Maryland and PA region on this beautiful July day. And also with me, the man, the myth, the legend from Presidential Bank Mortgage, Mr.
Terry Kernan.
Hi, buddy. How we doing?
Great. How are you?
Coming down home stretch.
Absolutely.
Into the
Can't
third
believe it.
phase of the summer.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Get ready
I've
to
said
welcome.
it before. Once you hit 4th of July, it kind of feels like the summer's almost over.
Yeah, so it's been fun. Been doing some fun stuff there. Last week, I was down at the boat race stuff, the shootout at Tiki Lee's. I'll run the patrol stuff over there with boats that are flying by at literally 140 miles per hour.
That's crazy.
That's some fun stuff. One little wrong move. Could be a bad day, but everybody was safe. Everybody had a really good time and good music and good fun and friends and everybody. And I love doing that every year, serving and helping out for a couple of days doing that with my little boat to run around and keep people off the race course and everybody so it's clear. Plus, they have the biplane flying, which is our neat air show and all kinds of other things. And so thousands and thousands of people show up from all over, and a lot of boats, they come from really far away. Some of them come all the way as from Florida to come up here to Maryland to be able to compete and enjoy our weather. That's a little bit cooler, but last week it was, thank God. If it was the week before, I'd have been worried. So yeah, it's been good. So
well,
all right,
that's great.
All right, let's get right on into it, everybody, boys and girls, for this Saturday, July 27. Here we go in the market for Frederick County. I want to first thank Terry, all of our sponsors, you guys, Presidential Bank Mortgage, and Meg Galler over at Community Title Network, and Connie Phillips Insurance, and Frederick here, who's amazing and awesome as well. So you want to get in touch with her. All right, so let's get right into the numbers here. We have 45 homes coming soon. Now, a week ago, we had 69.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Summertime, man.
Summertime. Everybody on vacation. Oh, honey, we'll sell next month. We'll sell when the Christmas tree comes up. It's all good, right? Yeah, get ready. We're gonna talk about some news. You may be missing some of the boat. All right. So last week out of homes, 383. This week 408. So we're back to 408, above 400 again a little bit. I'm just going to basically talk about what's under contract, 539. So about the same as last week. It was at 535. That hasn't changed yet much at all. It's kind of the same flow and sold in the last 30 days. Last week was 349 and this week 333. So there it goes. That number is going to stay pretty consistent because of what's under contract right now. That's the first number. And then as that decreases in sync, we will probably see in the last 30 days the numbers of those sales continue to go down, and we'll probably dip below 300 probably by, I'd say, into October. Somewhere about the middle of end of October, we'll consistently probably be a little bit under 300 homes per month selling. We'll get into probably the 275-ish mark and maybe 250. Level out that throughout the holidays, and then prayerfully things will start to pick up in January again and all that good stuff. So we'll see, but those are the numbers for what we have right now. List price ratio still hanging on right at 100%. So we haven't seen that big divide yet start to have happening as far as the homes that are, coming on, selling right away with multiple offers, which is about 38 to 45% of homes right now. It's a little under 50% that are getting multiple offers. And the ones that are getting quite a few, I'm learning. It's not just like multiple offer, 2 people. It's almost like you're going to have like 3 or 5 offers or more. And then on the other side of the pendulum, Terry, the bad thing we're starting to see that's negative, and it's just, we can't deny it, is the sellers that are missing. They're pushing the envelope. They're like, well, let's try for 10,000 more because my neighbor got 20 more. So I know things are slowing and yada, yada. But interest rates are coming down a little bit. And let's just try this. Let's just beta test this. And unfortunately, right now, about 45% of all sellers are having to make a price adjustment to be able to even get an offer, which means not only did they miss somewhat of the best, opportunity to be able to get the best terms and conditions and terms and all that and money, but they're now having to probably take a little bit less than they would have gotten if they just were a little bit more aggressive. And when I say a little bit aggressive, sometimes that's only like $5,000 or something like that, maybe 10 at most. So depending on what price point. And so that's the dynamic that we're paying attention to quite a bit. And I've been telling, I had 2 listings this last week. I have one now today. And I have a few more coming up that I'm working on right now. And this is the thing I'm sending out to them. I'm sending out a couple podcast information that's really good that backs all this kind of stuff up quite a bit. And then I'm sending them over real numbers and the trends and what's happening in real time as well within their market and community and such like that. And man, sellers really appreciate it because like yesterday I was at a listing and by the time we sit down, we don't even have to talk about it. They've already seen it. They've studied it. All they do is have a few questions and they go, all right, Darren, that makes sense. You've been doing this 21 years. You've sold 700 homes. Pretty sure we're just going to trust you because if we don't, they're realizing we're probably going to lose some money and we're probably going to get closing costs asked of us by a buyer and a whole bunch of other things. And we really don't want that. We really want to get what our neighbor got. And the only way to do that is have a really solid, good plan in place and you follow it. You don't just you follow it. If you just follow it, 95% of the time, it works out great. So, all right, that's what's happening.
All right. That's a lot happening.
Yeah, it is. That's a big thing we'll keep paying attention on because it will really be interesting, Terry, to see in the future as we go forward within the market and the changes that are starting to take place, which is a little bit more and more things changing up, how that relates in real time, especially with different price points in different areas. That's the thing I love so much about doing real estate and helping buyers and sellers is it becomes almost like it goes from like really broad, like it's happening all over, to now it becomes like, uh-oh, what is it? Where is it? What's your condition versus the next door neighbor's condition that they're selling to? That's a lot like yours. Now we start getting into more of beauty contests. We start getting into, in your community, you only have you for sale versus 5 others. Well, that's great. Or it's, oh no, there's 5 neighbors of yours selling right now too. That's not good. We're going on a closed field trip to your neighbor's house and checking those houses out before we put yours into the market. So that dynamic is what's, I think, coming back a lot. And you have to pay attention a lot deeper than we used to have to, even just in the last year. So,
yeah.
All right, let's get into mortgage stuff. What is happening in your world? Interest rates, the Fed meeting, numbers coming out, all of it.
So there's a lot going on now, but really there's a lot coming up.
Okay.
And what you're saying, I'm going to tie a lot of this into, and then hopefully it'll all make sense. Okay. And the good news is I talk slow enough that hopefully I can convey the message. But here's what's happened. Friday, the personal consumption expenditures, the CPE. This is the Fed's favorite measure of inflation. And it basically came out showing a price index increase by 0.1% on the month and was up 2.5% from a year ago. Slightly higher, the core rate was slightly higher. The core was 0.2%. But that number was slightly higher than they were hoping for, but it was not enough to rock the markets, but it was enough to solidify the fact that we are most likely going to have a rate cut here in September when the Fed meets. Now, the Fed's going to meet next week. The Fed's going to talk about what's going on. They're going to start looking at the numbers that come out in August. Remember that cycle that we go on?
Yeah.
First comes out, first week in August is going to be unemployment. Second week, as always, the consumer price index and the producer price index. Those are the sexy ones that everybody hangs their, everybody looks at and everybody's, waiting, holding their breath. The CPE comes out every year and it's kind of like the nobody really knows about it.
Yeah.
But it's what the economists focus on the most.
Yeah.
So that is a good number. That came in. And that pretty much solidified that we are going to get a rate cut here by the Fed.
So that increased the odds by this happening?
Yeah.
That's the key.
And when I say solidify, there's probably, they're saying it's close to 100% chance that they'll start cutting rates in September. Now, I've said that, that September was probably going to be the target. I've been saying that for months.
Yep.
And it looks like that it's going to come through. I've been talking about the word momentum. Okay. We're starting to see the momentum of lower rates. This is something that pushes us, keeps the momentum going. Now, is the ball rolling down a huge hill? Like when you're going down the Pennsylvania Turnpike and you see the sign that says 9%, decline?
Yeah.
No, we're looking at a fairly flat, gradual, and that's good for our market.
Yeah, keeps things in balance.
But what it does do, Darren, and I've talked about this, is here's what I'm hearing from people. I'm in no hurry. I'm in no hurry. That's what I'm hearing from my buyers. You're hearing from your sellers, I think I should be able to get more.
Yeah.
And my buyers are saying, I'm in no hurry. So what does that do? That energy, that enthusiasm has diminished. It's not gone. It's not gone. But it goes back to what I've said before. Why would I buy something today that I know is going to be on sale next month, 2 months from now, 3 months from now? So I've got people kind of gearing up and thinking about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let everybody know my thought if I'm a seller in this market, and I've got, and I've talked about the customer that has a $1.25 million home in Northern Virginia. His neighbor sold for 1.3. He put it on a little lower. They put it on a little lower, hoping to get the bids to bid it up, and they've gotten one offer and it was under 1.2. And he's like, I don't need to sell. I'm just, so he's going to wait. But here's my thought is buy downs. We talked about buy downs. And buy downs require the seller to pay closing costs.
Yep. Okay.
The seller can buy down the buyer's rate with a 2.5 or 2.75% contribution. Mm-hmm. They can actually buy the rate down. So here's my strategy. If I'm a seller, I'm going to, and nothing's kind of moving, and the neighbors did sell higher, but nobody's coming to my house, and I'm priced lower, and I don't know what to do. I'm going to take a look, and I'm going to say, hey, why don't we take a look at offering the buy down? Because here's where it makes sense in a buyer's mind. I know you don't want to buy something today that's going to be on sale tomorrow.
Yeah, because they're focused on interest rate.
They're focused on interest rate. They're focused on payment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offer you an interest rate that's 2% lower than today's market.
That's too good to be true.
Too good to be true. Does that pique your interest?
It should.
That, I believe, will get people off the sidelines.
Yeah, because it's better than what you're waiting for to have happen.
Absolutely. You don't know when that's going to happen. But we do know this. Rates are moving downward, and a 2-1 buy down works like this. The seller has to pay the fees, but the 2-1 buy down in today's market, we are now under 7%. We're rolling down that hill. If we're at 6.75%, right? Think about this. Mm-hmm. You can buy their rate down to 4.75% for the first 12 months, 5.75% for the second 12 months, and then years 3 through 30, they're at 6.75%. But we all know and we all feel very comfortable that by the time 24 months is up, they will have the opportunity to buy a house or to refinance
into that.
Any unused money of that buy down, guess what? It goes to paying down principal balance.
That's good.
So if you're a seller, you can actually feel, and don't feel like you missed the boat. You just have to kind of figure out how you're going to steer the boat in a different direction.
Exactly.
And if you want to create a little bit of, hey, maybe Terry's right. Maybe I should have the seller pay for the buy down, and I'm going to get, and I'll pay a little more, right?
Yeah, I'll pay asking price
because
to
I'm
get
getting
that.
the house I want.
Yep.
I'm not in a, as you always say, I'm not in a fist fight on the front lawn trying to outbid somebody.
Right.
And I'm going to get an interest rate payment that's at 4.75%. And within 24 months, I'm going to refinance. So boom. So I think that's the approach. If I'm a seller, that's the approach that I would definitely be all ears about, is offering a buy down.
So it begs the question out of these sellers that are not getting their home sold and they find themselves on the market 2 weeks, now they're above, or 3 weeks, now they get above the time on the market, or 30 days.
Yep.
They become one of these 41% of sellers that they're being told, hey, you need to lower your price. You need to get the price right. Like you said, why in the world? Well, since we're not seeing values come down much at all, they're
Bingo.
flat. Since values aren't coming down, and that's not the trend that's working the best in the case of people, buyers, more desirable, wanting more of a better affordable payment, which ties more into typically the interest rate versus the price, right?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. The solution would be for these sellers. If you are a seller, okay, if you're a seller and you're not getting your home sold, I would say, please have that conversation with your agent about doing this buy down with the interest rate buy down. Offer 2.75 or 3% towards the buy down rather than lower your price by 3% right away. You may find much, much more success doing it like that.
I think you'll find a lot
right
more
now
interest.
You will.
100%.
Yeah, right now you will.
I truly, I've been thinking about this.
That's good.
I've been thinking about this, and I'm like, what can get these people that all I'm hearing is, we're not in a hurry. Well, I'm going to make you in a hurry.
Yeah, this will do it.
This is going to make you in a hurry. And think about it. If you're a seller, we've all been a seller.
Yep.
Most of us listening, and Darren and I and everybody, most people have sold a home. And what is the one thing you never want to do? And that is lower your price.
Exactly.
Now, you're in a situation where values are not going down. So if you have a neighbor that sold at 600 and you're coming in at 580 because you know that the market's changing a little bit, you don't want to lower your, because that, once again, that momentum.
That breeds it all. For the community, for the whole area.
Once somebody lowers their sales price, all of a sudden what happens is
the pressure to follow suit.
People start following suit, and then all of a sudden you get a little bit of a pandemonium breeds pandemonium, and all of a sudden it's kind of like, why didn't we listen to Terry? Hold your price right now.
Yeah.
Be confident in your price. Be confident in your realtor. Offer a buy down, and I can show them payments and how it works. And it's nothing to be afraid of, especially in a market that we all feel. And when I say all, I'm talking everybody feels that we are in a declining rate environment over the next 2 years.
Yeah. So every seller out there, the best thing to do is at the end of the program, Terry's information and mine is going to come up. Take down, make sure you have Terry's information. Give him a call. Terry, I guess, is it safe to say you're able to run a scenario for their particular home with their taxes, everything,
100%.
and then print it up. What's the buy down? What does that look like? And then you can email it. You can send that information to the seller, and the seller can give it to their agent or put it out on the flyer box or in the packet of the home sale or whatever. And now it's right there. Buyers can now see what it is that's being offered in black and white, and then they can decide, holy cow, we've gone to look at 6 other homes. Nobody else is offering this most likely right now.
Yeah, because people really care about 2 things. How much is coming out of my pocket?
That's it.
What's my down payment? And what is my monthly payment?
Yep.
And if you can show them, hey, I'm giving you a below market payment that's going to allow you to refinance when rates do come down without missing a beat and being able to afford the house now, boom.
It's easy.
Game changer.
Yeah, it is. Definitely. There you go. All right. Good stuff. That is huge. This right here, Terry, we're going to give out popcorn for this kind of stuff to people and all that. We're going to start sending out popcorn to people so they can be like, wow, this is the show. This is the good stuff. This is stuff we're not hearing much about anymore, because it was like, I've learned in real estate, Terry, that certain things are trendy. They get hot in the moment, whether it's bridge loan now, or it's the buy down, or it's this or that, or whatever it is, or grant money. I mean, you name it. And then all of a sudden, we get chased and squirreled. Like all of a sudden this changes, or this becomes a thing now, or this we got to pay attention to. And I've learned in my business in this, doing this 21 years, there's so much involved that if you're not careful, we can forget about oh yeah, that still does exist. It's not like it went away. It's just, we need to revisit that. We need to start thinking strategically again through what are the best things to help the consumer out. And this is why what we do, I believe, is so relevant that most other agents, and I'm not bashing nobody, but most people, they just don't take the time to think this through and think about consumers and buyers and sellers of what is it we can provide value that is going to just be unbelievable, that they can take advantage of, that if they don't know about, they will miss. And later they could find out about it, and now they're mad. Well, wouldn't you be mad? I'd be mad too. This is why you want to work with somebody like us and others that are very experienced and pay attention to this 60 and 70 hours a week.
Yeah. So let me just be very, very clear why buy downs are I've already explained why they're great.
Oh yeah.
Let me explain why they're not popular.
Yes, that's good. Yeah.
This is why they're not popular. You have to have a conversation with the seller that they have to pay closing costs. Well, Darren, I'm not going to pay closing costs because nobody else is paying closing costs. And I'm going to get 5 contracts and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but I'm not paying closing costs. I'm not going to pay for somebody's buy down. And that's why they are not. But if you say to a buyer, hey, I'm going to give you a rate at 4.75%, and then it's going to go to 5.75. Are you okay with that? Oh, yeah. Geez, yeah, I'm super okay with that.
Sure.
But if you say to a seller, hey, I need you to pay 2.75%, let's not lower your, if you say, let's not lower
the asking price.
The asking price. Let's just pay for a buy down. Let's not offer closing costs. Let's advertise and pay for that buy down.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the thing is, you're right. It's not being talked about, number one, as much as it should be, because in the environment, it should be. And the ripe opportunity, it's amazing right now with what's happening in real time. It's a real time thing, ultimately. And like you said, it gets perceived as this isn't a good thing to do, when it's probably the best thing you can do.
Correct.
Because if I said to a seller, what would you rather do? Would you rather lower your price to get an offer, or would you rather offer a buy down to get a buyer, to get more buyers than what the price is going to do in this moment? Sometimes they can think, well, no, I mean, I don't want to do anything right now. Well, then you become one of these stats and these numbers that I'm dealing with that's rising, right? Mm-hmm. Those sellers that are starting to find themselves like, oh man, what's happening? What's going on here? We're in denial. We really don't want to believe it. And then they wait too long. And then they go, oh, what's the best solution? Well, the longer you wait to have the right solution in place to get an offer and the highest amount and the best terms and conditions and everything, it just hurts you in the end. And so I think you're right. This isn't the kind of conversation that happens at 21 or 30 days or more. I do this conversation in the front end because it's already in my stuff. Yeah. It already says, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. This is how I guarantee you're going to score touchdowns and win the Super Bowl. I've already got the plan in place on how to beat the opponents, how to beat the market, how to beat everything and win. That's going to put you in the best position possible. And until something changes, Terry, in the environment that we're in, unless there's a radical change, we don't change the play plan. It's just like the other side of the defense of the team. Unless the team changes their defensive structure and play, we're going to keep doing what we're doing because I know it's going to work.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'll tell you a quick story. 31 years ago, Mary Susan and I were selling our townhouse. We'd owned it for 5 years. It was, it wasn't a great market. And our realtor basically said, the house is not selling. We've been going at this, and this is back obviously before the internet and all that. And the realtor said, let's drop the price. And I said, no. I said, well, let's do this. Let's put an ad in the paper under real estate and just say deck party. And we're not going to drop the price, but I'm going to build a deck and I'll get plans drawn up and advertise a deck party. And when people show up, they're going to see the plans and the deck will be built before settlement.
All right.
So the open house was packed. We sold it that day for what we were offering. But what I'm saying is we didn't lower the price. I didn't want to lower the price. Okay. I wanted to bring more value.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. And we were able to sell the house. Now, instead of lowering it $5,000, I just took that $5,000 and put it, and the neighbors greatly appreciated it, and it made it a more desirable house because I put a brand new deck on.
So that's what's smart. What can we do in the very moment under the present conditions to attract the most buyers? It's just that simple. It's no different than a smart fisherman that says, in this environment, at this time of the tide change or the moon change or the water temperature, all the depths and all these other things, and the fish that are running right now today, what is the absolute best bait I can put on my hook? And that's a smart fisherman. It's no different than this. And so we got about 2 minutes left, Terry. We've been talking.
Fishing isn't lucky, just to let you know.
No, that's why you hire a charter boat and they know where to that. I'm like, how'd you get to
and
be
I'm going
so
to talk
smart?
about fishing next week because we got the White Island coming up.
We'll see what happens. Somebody's going to win it. We got 2 minutes left. Here's the thing, guys. We've been talking about the 22 top questions that buyers and sellers have for real estate, Terry. And I'm going to finish it up with this. This is the last thing we were on. We got 2 minutes. When selling my home, when I sell my home, why is the assessed value different than the market value? We started to talk about that, Terry. I'm just going to blow through this here because this is really important. Just again, for everybody to listen in. Tax assessments is for figuring out your property taxes owed. That's it. This has nothing to do with your fair market selling value. In our area, Terry, we've seen the assessed values. They get updated about every 3 years, the tax value. And it changes, and of course the rate, the taxes go up, not because of a dollar amount, but it's primarily because of the rate. It goes up from like 1.17 to like 1.11 to 1.17 or whatever we're dealing with, and that's the factor that does that. Okay, that has nothing to do with your value. Your value goes up just based on the market, and that's going to do its thing. But that does take into consideration how this rate gets calculated. And then it also is different if you're in the city taxes or where you're at in the county or where you're at and everything like that. So PA is totally different. They got the school tax that's out there, different than Maryland's. We bundle it all together. PA has the townships, the boroughs, the county, like they have all kinds of stuff and you put it all together. So the big thing I'll end up with this. A lot of times we see the fair market value, Terry, being anywhere from an average of 15 to 25% more than your tax assessed value. But I've seen in Villages Urbana or downtown Frederick places where your assessed value is $550,000 and the fair market value is like $575,000, and it's like, whoa, that's really tight. Why is that? It's because of how this stuff gets calculated throughout. So that's what's really important. Don't pay attention. I'll do the numbers for you. If you ever want to know it, I'll do yours for you, and you'll see what I mean. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to your Frederick Real Estate Update. Have an awesome, awesome weekend in this happy Saturday as we end up July. Take care and be safe out there, and thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye now. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Check that out.